Jerry, the cosmaker, for the sound system. And finally, our trustees and our treasurer, where is she? Nancy Souls, for making some refreshments, and Roseanne too, I think, right? Good. So, now, for a quick Butler trivia question. Who knows how many cemeteries and burial sites are in our town? Wow. Number. How many? 5? You have inside information. It's 11. Just down Route 89 is another marker which designates the burial site of Sarah Mills, who died here in 1809, making her the first person buried in what became the town of Butler in 1823. So besides Sarah, we have folks buried in Westbury, Rowe, Sprague, Wood, Sandhill, Hubbard, Butler Center, Winegar, Davis or Dixon Farm, and Van Vleck. So some are easy to find and others not so much. In March of 1965, Margaret Murhoff and Dorothy Facer came through and made a listing of burials here that they found. Now, Parker may have some names to add to the list when all is said and done, because a lot of time and a lot of weather have come through over the years, and so we may be able to find some people we didn't know were here. I have copies of the listing available over at the table if anybody's interested in looking up any names they might find familiar. Now, the earliest burial here at Hubbard was Pvt Scott in October of 1824 at the age of 6. And Ezekiel was born in Westbury, Connecticut in 1758 and served in the Revolutionary War, then settled in Butler in 1813. At the first Butler Town meeting in 1826, he was named as an overseer of the poor, as well as a fence viewer. Everybody, what is a fence viewer? Well, I checked with Uncle Google, and I found that a fence viewer made sure fences were in good repair, and in cases of disputes between neighbors, worked to resolve their differences. So there you go. In the history of the Wayne County book, there's a section that reads, Scott remarked that the best meal he had ever eaten consisted of pork and cabbage, but it was after a 3-day march during service in the Army of the Revolution. Scott was invaluable during these early years when sickness was general and few families could claim exceptional exemption. He rode for miles, alleviating want, inspiring cheerfulness, and rendering much needed assistance. Something the government really needs to get back to. So finally, there's a link between Ezekiel and Eli Wheeler, who was also buried here, which was found in the Military History of Wayne County book. They explained that a committee with Ezekiel, Eli, and William Moulton selected the name of Butler to honor General William Butler, who was an officer in the Revolution. So I'd now like to introduce Parker Mabey, who is a sophomore at North Rosewood High School, and it's a credit, seriously, to his parents, Melanie and Phil, and his brother Tyler, who helps out as well, who have instilled an interest in history and preservation of places such as our cemetery here in Butler. Give it up for Parker.
Hey guys, some of you know me as Gone Gradling. My name is Parker Mabey, a sophomore at the North Rosewood High School and a Boy Scout at Troop 115. And I'm currently working on restoring the cemetery. I came across the cemetery on Google Maps around August of 2023. The street view at the time showed no stones, just trees. On August 28th, 2023, we showed up here, and it was about knee-high with poison ivy and Virginia creeper. Heck, the sign was even covered in it. Only a few stones were poking out of the poison ivy at the time. This place was a nightmare for someone who was allergic to that stuff. I decided I wanted to restore this place because it felt like it's familiar, like I've been here before, like in a past life or something. But anyway, I walked around in the north side of the cemetery, which is over there, for about 30 minutes or so. My mom and my brother were with me that day. After walking around and exploring for a while, I finally said, "Mom, do you know how to get permission to fix this place up?" She said, "Well, we can call the historian and let her know what I want to do and get permission from the town board." I came to the Butler town board on January 8th, 2024, with a script, photos, and a passion. After the town board granted me permission due to the snow, the next time I was able to come back was March of 2024, after school with some reinforcements. One of my buddies, Hunter Clevenger, and I started some work, like cutting a bunch of the multiple rows and cutting a lot of poison ivy and headstone off the headstones and trees. We found about 30 headstones that day that you couldn't even see because of all the poison ivy and Virginia creeper on them. Then, a few days later, his brother Logan and I cleaned a small area around the Allen Palette and cut tons of small trees. Then on April 19th, the real progress started. My mom Melanie, my dad Phil, and my brother Tyler, and I got the whole north side of the cemetery raised. You can watch the video on my YouTube channel, Gone Grading. On April 27th, I got a group together that consisted of historian Lori Smith, Randy Orbaker, my brother, my father, my mother, Calvin Calhoun, and his mother, Tiffany. We got the area around Ezekiel Scott cleaned up, which is right back there. On May 20th, the cemetery got its first mow in, obviously, a very long time. The first stone to be stood up was Anna Peck and Horace Peck, who was one of the earliest settlers. On June 8th, I stood up Mary Carter and straightened out John Hubbard. On June 20th, I stood up Levine Frazier, which was lying on the ground. On July 18th, I straightened out Olive Scott, who was the wife of Ezekiel Scott. Thanks to Dave Bloom for teaching me how to fix headstones, because on July 25th, we fixed Grizzle Wheeler with me. Grizzle was the first broken headstone to be fixed in the cemetery. Then my dad and I started fixing Eli Wheeler, who was a War of 1812 veteran. Although I've done a lot of work here, there's still plenty more to do. When I first started cleaning this place up, I decided to start researching every single person in here, because I was curious about their lives. Here are a couple things I found interesting that I wanted to share with you. Of course, you already know about Ezekiel Scott, so I won't tell you any more about him. Let's talk about some of the others buried here. Hudson Calkins was the second lieutenant of the 9th New York Heavy Artillery during the Civil War. John Van Antwerp, a Civil War veteran himself, died 8 days after the Civil War ended. And civilian Hubbard was the owner of the Butler Center Cheese Factory, and judging by multiple newspaper articles, boy, he apparently had bad luck with horses and wagons. And here we are now dedicating this Patriot burial marker to Revolutionary War veteran Private Ezekiel Scott. I appreciate you for showing up and giving recognition to Mr. Scott, and for paying your respects to the others here as well. And I know that they appreciate it too.
Parker is my hero. Next, DAR Regent Helen Camp will talk about her quest to track down and honor early military veterans.
Hello, I am Helen Van Dyne Camp, and I am Regent of the Colonel William Prescott chapter of Daughters of the American Revolution. Our chapter is identifying, researching, and documenting the Revolutionary War patriots who lived in Wayne County. We are also taking photographs of the headstones of the patriots who are buried in our county. Our current list of patriots we are researching is 257 men. Of those, just under 200 are buried in our county cemeteries. The goal is to have a comprehensive list of these men and their part in the founding of our country and their part in our local history. We are very happy to honor Ezekiel Scott, and we thank Parker Mabey and his parents for all their work restoring this little cemetery. Without the generosity of individuals, these small cemeteries would languish and the stones would be lost to time. Thank you to Lori Smith and all those who worked so hard to acquire this Pomeroy sign for the Hubbard Cemetery. This is an honor for the town of Butler to have their patriots recognized, and the town of Butler has several. Thank you.
Thanks, Helen. Another exciting tidbit of trivia is that Helen and I share grandparents, right? Yeah. Okay, so next, our Butler Supervisor, Tom Metler, would like to say a few words.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for coming. I want to thank Lori for inviting me. I want to thank our Assemblyman Brian Mankelo for coming. That was quite a surprise seeing Brian here when I pulled up, so thank you. Lori asked me to say a few words at our last budget meeting, and I didn't really know anything about it, but it's truly an honor. Our Revolutionary War veterans, they paved the way for us. You know, they settled here, and I did find out a little bit of information today. Mr. Stone, would you raise your hand? That's Mr. Stone. Ezekiel's daughter was his great-great-grandmother. So it's an honor to have him here too. Parker, you've done an amazing job. Your parents have got to be so proud of you. I'm proud of you. I know we're all proud of you. Keep up the good work. If there were more kids like you, you know, we would have no worries in the future to come. So thank you for what you're doing. Keep up the good work. And in closing, I just want to put a shout out to Lori. We have our Butler Centennial in 2026. Bicentennial, yes, sorry. But she is trying to raise funds for that. So if anybody can donate or has any ideas, and at our next board meeting, I'm gonna donate $100 to kick it off. She'd like to have the church painted before our bicentennial, so, thank you.
Thanks, Tommy. Next, I would like to have our Historical Society trustee, Roseanne Stewart, and one of our Butler residents, former Butler, she ran away, to read a letter that was sent to us from the Pomeroy Foundation.
For any of those of you who may know my maiden name, you may be wondering about the connection. I was a Hubbard, but there's no connection that I know of. But I'm proud to read this. I hope you'll put up with me. I've not seen it until a few minutes ago, and it's kind of long, but I think it's interesting. This is from the William G. Pomeroy Foundation. Congratulations from all of us at the William G. Pomeroy Foundation. Can you hear me? Yep. On the dedication of your Patriot Burial's historical marker at Hubbard Cemetery. We send our warm regards from Syracuse as you pay tribute to Revolutionary War veteran Ezekiel Scott, interred here at these hallowed grounds. We wish we could be with you for this occasion. At the Pomeroy Foundation, one of our main initiatives is to help people commemorate their community's history. We do this by offering fully funded historical markers and plaques nationwide, as well as several other history-related initiatives such as National Historic Marker Day, celebrated annually on the last Friday of April. We feel strongly that markers educate the public, encourage pride of place, and promote historic tourism. Some of the type is a little strange here. How did our mission come about? I have been passionate about history since my childhood. I have found fond memories of riding in the car with my father, who was a traveling salesman, and seeing historical markers we would stop for and read together. In 2005, I established the Pomeroy Foundation and made funding markers a priority among our first initiatives. I had learned that New York State had stopped funding its marker program decades ago and had left it to communities to raise funds on their own. This was the impetus for our first marker grant program and later became the springboard for several more programs, including Patriot burials. I am an active member of the SAR, and at the Pomeroy Foundation, we are proud to support the mission of the Empire State Society of the Sons of the American Revolution by funding Patriot burial markers. The Sons of the American Revolution's commitment to preserving and commemorating the history of American patriots at their final resting place is important work. We extend our appreciation to the ESSAR, the Columbia Mid-Hudson Valley SAR chapter, the Hubbard Cemetery Association, the Daughters of the American Revolution, and everyone who has contributed to this marker project. We know this Patriot Burials marker will ensure the contributions of Revolutionary War veteran Ezekiel Scott will endure as a testament for future generations. Thank you and congratulations on the marker. Sincerely, Bill Pomeroy, founder and trustee, William G. Pomeroy Foundation. And I add my thanks to you, Parker, this is wonderful.
Parker, come on up here. And Tommy, you want to come up? Sure. And then, and now the bow is not a bow. There we go.
Okay, you ready, Parker? No, go ahead and grab it right up there. The shortest guy here to help him out.
So,
There you go.
it says Patriot Burials, Hubbard Cemetery, Revolutionary War veteran, Pvt Ezekiel Scott, interred here, 1848, served 1777 to 1780 in the Connecticut line. And now I'd like to invite Assemblyman Brian Hickslow, who would like to say a few words.
Well, thank you, Lori. And there's so many things I can talk about this morning. You know, when I rolled up here, when I first got here this morning, I came down the road, and I saw the cemetery here, and I didn't know all the background of it until now. And then as I looked at it, I got looking at the stones, and I'm thinking, you know, these stones have been here a very long time. And I started looking at the trees, and I'm thinking, I wondered what this cemetery looked like back in the day. Back when it was first started, when it was first created, and served its purpose as a cemetery. And it's just remarkable what we have here in Wayne County and what we have around the surrounding areas. And it's just an honor to be here this morning. And what a beautiful day to honor this, to do this here in Wayne County, in Butler. And in my position as state assemblyman, I've always learned to be humble and not try to go above someone else. And as your supervisor, Mr. Metler said he's going to donate $100. Well, I won't go above you, Tommy. I'll donate $99.99. So you still got the top one.
I'd be okay with you going way above.
I love you, man, but I can't do that. So, Lori, if you could just come over for a second. So one of the nice things that I get to do in the state assembly is come to a lot of these events and see the history and honor people. And Lori, I just want to give you this New York State Assembly citation for the Patriot Burial Historical Marker that's done here today, presented to you on behalf of the 130th Assembly District, myself, and New York State. So I just want to say congratulations to the Historical Society for doing all this and doing your work. So
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And Parker, just a few words to you. You know, I go to so many of these, and you're one of the youngest persons I've seen out here doing this. And what this tells me is we still have hope. We have hope that there's young people, men and women like you, that want to see our history move forward. So Parker, I want to say thank you personally for what you've done as a U.S. Army veteran. Seeing some of these stones and what you talked about is just humbling to me and gets to my heart. I don't want to cry, so I won't. And one of the things I'll do for you, Parker, is that citation. I will get another copy made, and I will come present that to you at your school, if that's okay. So again, thank you for all being here this morning. Thank you, Parker, and your family and everybody that was involved. What a source of dedication and honor to the people that are here and their families today. So God bless all of you. Have a great weekend. And again, thank you, Lori, for allowing me to be part of this morning. Thank you.
Okay, so finally, I'd like to point out an interesting artifact that is here in the cemetery. I've never encountered one, and neither has Parker or Helen in their travels around various cemeteries. But if you look kind of behind you, you will see an iron frame in the shape of a coffin. There was a piece shaped like an X over the top and a dove that sat in the middle of the X. So it's something out of the ordinary that you may want to take a closer look at. Hannah Calkins, the wife of John Calkins, is
Right there.
Finally, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us here today, and I hope to see some folks down in South Butler at 1 p.m. for my fabulous South Butler Neighborhood History Walk. So thanks to everybody. Oh, cookies are over here, so come and enjoy. And Dave Bloom is right here, and he helped Parker out a lot with teaching him the intricacies of gravestone preservation. So thanks to Dave for coming out and helping us.
This was a Patriot burial marker ceremony to Pvt Ezekiel Scott, who was buried in the cemetery I'm restoring. You might recognize her from a video that I have. So yeah. Anyway, please like, subscribe, and goodbye.